Hello everyone, today I'm going to be talking about variables in JavaScript. So let's get going. So variables are basically containers for storing data. We can create variables in 4 different ways. The first one is automatically. For example, if we make a calculation and set the calculation's answer to be equal to some variable that has a name, that's one way. The second way is to use var, but we don't really use that anymore. So instead, we use let and const in order to create variables. I'm gonna give you an example. So I'm gonna create a variable called x, let x equals 25 and a semicolon. Then I'm also going to create a variable let y equals 5. And then I'm gonna create a variable of z, and that equals x plus y. Now what do you think is going to be inside of z? Well, let's take this ID of example right over here. So document.getElement by ID. Let's take the ID example, change the inner HTML to be equal to z. And yes, x is 25 and y is 5, so x plus y is 30, so the variable z will be 30. Now if I was using constant variables, const, this would still work, because the variables x and y are not changing at any time. However, if I wrote const z to be equal to x plus y, that would also work. However, if I was to add, for example, z equals itself plus 5, now that's where an error would come in, because we cannot make reassignments to a constant variable. So we can open the web page and in Google Chrome and right click, inspect, go to the console, and it's gonna say uncaught type error, assignment to a constant variable. And the problem is right over here. The z variable is a constant. We cannot redeclare it. So yeah, if I change this to let, then it's going to work. So first, x equals 25, y equals 5, then z equals 30, and then we add 5 to the z variable, and the outcome is 35. So yeah. So in this example, the variable x stores the value 25, the variable y stores the value of 5, the variable z stores x plus y, and then we add 5 more to the variable z, and then we show variable z on the web page by using the element with the ID of example, which is this paragraph right over here. So yeah, this all would work if I used var for declaring variables. Var is short for variable. So the var keyword was used in all JavaScript code from 1995 to 2015. The let and the constant keywords were added in 2015. So the var keyword should only be used in code written for older browsers, or if you absolutely must use it, because now we usually use const and let. So these can be const, but this has to be let. And there we go. And this has to be let because we are reassigning the variable c later. We can also use const over here, but then we cannot use this line. I'm gonna comment it out. So now it's going to work. 25 plus 5 is x plus y, or x equals 25 and y equals 5, so it's going to be 30, which is shown on the web page. Okay, I'm gonna give you another example with some different variables, so let's make a constant variable of product. And this is going to be 25. Feel free to use your unit of currency. So that's product, and then const product 2, and this is going to be 30. And then we are going to make a variable of let total equal product plus product 2 and a semicolon. So now we can print out the total, which is going to be 55. Now, if you want, we can use a template literal for this. So that's going to be 2 backticks. So your total is colon. Then we are going to add something called a placeholder. So a dollar and brackets. Inside of the brackets, we will insert the variable total. And now on the web page, it says your total is 55. We can even add a currency on front of here, for example, dollars. So your total is $55. So yeah, this one is declared with the const variable, so this cannot be redeclared, nor can this one. However, the total is declared with the let variable, so that can be redeclared. For example, if we have a tax percentage, we can say let tax equal 1.1 of the product or the total. So it would be equal to, tax is going to be equal to total times 1.1 and a semicolon. And actually I'm gonna first add that 1.1, so the tax is going to be like the product itself plus 10%. And then we can reassign total. So total is going to be equal to total plus or times the tax. So that will be $60 and 50.000001 cents. So if this total variable was a constant, we couldn't do this because this is a reassignment to a variable. But yeah, this is a 10% tax. 20% tax would be $66. Let's use that because I don't want to use those decimal numbers. Also, decimal numbers are known as floats with computers, and computers have some problems working with them. So yeah. Instead, when you are actually calculating money, you should do that by calculating the amount in cents instead of decimal numbers. Because as you can see, if the tax is 10%, it's gonna say $60 and 50 cents .000001 at the end. So yeah, you should use the cents. So for example, a $25 product would be 2,500 cents, and this would be 3,000, and then the tax would stay the same. And yeah, that way the computer will not run into any issues when calculating money. Okay, so right now you might be wondering, when should we use let or const or var? Well, always use const if the value of the variable should not be changed. Always use const if the type should not be changed. Only use let if you can't use const, and only use var if you must support older browser versions. So yeah, the var keyword is kind of an old keyword that we don't use anymore. So yeah, basically variables are like containers for storing different values inside of them. Alright, then I'm going to be talking about JavaScript identifiers. So, all the JavaScript variables must be identified with unique names. For example, product, product2, total, and tax. If I was to make another variable of const product equals 25, that's not going to work. And the issue is that we have two variables with the same name product, so we cannot redeclare. Well, I can also change that to be let, and there's still going to be an issue. We cannot redeclare a block scoped variable product, so we cannot have two variables of the same name. These are also called identifiers, these unique names. And they can be short names like X and Y, or more descriptive names like total and tax, or even product tax and product total. And the general rules for the naming is that they can contain letters, digits, underscores, and dollar signs. The names must begin with a letter, which they do. The names can also begin with a dollar sign and an underscore. And the names are case sensitive. So if I change the product to be a big D, well, we are no longer showing the total in our web page, because the total is calculated with product and product2, and these are actually different variables. So this JavaScript is very case sensitive. You gotta write the variable names exactly similarly as you wrote them before. Only then it's going to work. Also, reserved words like JavaScript keywords cannot be used as names. For example, I cannot say let equals 25, because let is not allowed to be used as a name in let or const declarations, because the let is already a keyword in JavaScript. Okay, I'm gonna give you a next example. Let's go, and I'm gonna remove this line, not entirely, but most of it. And now I'm gonna make a constant variable. Const pi equals 3.14159 and a semicolon. Then I'm gonna make let person equals, and this is going to be a string data type. So we can use single quotes. Let's use Homer Simpson and a semicolon. Or we can also use single quotes. I mean, we can use double quotes like I did over here, or single quotes like I'm going to use over here. Marge Simpson. And now we have the problem that I'm using the same variable, so this one needs to be person2. There we go. Okay, right over here, let me actually make a new line, so we'll hit enter, and then I am going to make this show up on the web page. So I'm going to be using string concatenation. So pi, now it's showing up over here, 3.14159, which is this value over here. And then I'm gonna add a plus sign, and then I'm going to be adding double quotes and a break tag. This is essentially the same that a break tag does on HTML, except this time we are writing it in JavaScript. Then I'm gonna add another plus sign, and I'm gonna add person and plus person2, and we also want a space between these two characters, so I'm gonna add an empty space and plus, and this, there we go, we got an empty space, or we could actually add even a comma. Alright, so now we got pi, and then on a new line we got person, comma and empty space, person2, and yeah, and add a semicolon. So basically this all is just one big large line of code, but to make it easier to read, you can add it on another line like this. And now we have all our values inside of here. So here we used double quotes, single quotes, and here we did some string concatenation with the plus assignment variable, with the plus sign. So we take the variable pi plus an HTML element plus a variable plus a comma and empty space plus person2, and here is the outcome. Alright, let me give you another example. If we only declare a JavaScript variable, for example, let my car equal, there we go, let my car and semicolon. And then if I take the document get element by ID example and try to change the inner HTML to my car, it's gonna be undefined because my car is not assigned. However, if I type my car equals my car plus some or string of text some car, and we can actually remove this. So now my car will be assigned to the string some car, and my car will show on the web page some car. We can also redeclare this as many times as we want. My car equals Volvo, for example. Now that's what's shown up on the web page. So we can redeclare the variables created with let as many times as we want to. And for that we use the equal sign, the assignment operator. And of course we can do all of this at one line. So let my car equal some car, and then redeclare the variable my car equals Volvo, and then we will get the element example, which is this paragraph, and change the inner HTML content to be the variable my car. And this is a string of text. Now I'm using double quotes because I like them, but what I could also do is use single quotes like this. That's going to work as well. So yeah. We can also declare multiple variables at the same line. So let my car equals Volvo. Then we can say that we are going to be adding an owner, we gotta separate these with a comma. The owner is going to be equal to Tozu, and another comma, and the price is gonna equal 5,000 something, for example. Then we can write all these down here. So first, I'm gonna use a template string, so that's 2 backticks. So the car is, at a placeholder, dollar, brackets, my car. The owner is another placeholder, owner, and the price is and a placeholder, price. The car is Volvo, the owner is Tozu, and the price is 5,000. Alright, so there's some string concatenation done with the backticks and template literal, so we don't have to use the plus signs all the time. We can simply write the sentence and add some variables with the placeholder. Alright, so we can also declare multiple values in one line. Of course, this would still work if I did it like this. So let and let. This is going to be producing the same outcome. Okay, right now if I hover my mouse over this price variable, it's gonna tell me that the price is a number data typed. So if I put this number in single quotes, it's not gonna be a number anymore. The data type is going to be a string, which is a piece of text. Or in double quotes, it's going to be a string once again. So yeah. And lastly but not least, I want to demonstrate to you that the underscore and dollar work in JavaScript. So I'm gonna add a dollar to every one of these, and also in here I gotta add a dollar for this to work. There we go. So the sentence has not changed, and this time I'm using a special character, one out of the 2 special characters, which is dollar and underscore. They are the only special characters that are allowed to be used in variable names or whatever names. Also, the underscore works like that. And then we gotta change these placeholders over here as well. So there we go. The sentence is the same. And this one can be in quotes or outside of quotes. It doesn't make a difference in this example, but if we were working with math, for example, it would have to be like this, because if it was in quotes, it would be a string data type, and you can't really do math with strings. But for now, it doesn't really matter. In the future, it will though. So now the data type is number, once again, because there are no quotes around it. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the variables episode. And by the way, I should change this to variables. Alright, so yeah, that's a introduction to variables. We will have a lot of practice with these in the future. I hope you learned something new in this episode, and I hope I'm gonna see you guys and everyone in the next one. So yeah, have a wonderful day and happy learning, everybody. Bye bye.